Fine. Legend.
Legend.
Cheese, mate.
11.
Okay, so last video was like 1 year ago, or
Yeah, something like that, I think. Maybe more even.
okay. Hi, Alex Jan.
Hi, Arthur.
So more or less like 1 year passed since the last time we did a video together, and since then many things happened, and your also spiritual work was like evolving, and you were getting some experience. And I would like you to share like how, when you like memorize basically, like how was back then your vision towards the spiritual work, like where you reached so far, and basically your orientation there, yeah, and what you feel now, like what's the difference back then and now, and then maybe I will ask some more questions.
Okay. So 1 year ago, so as far as I could remember, I had basically, I was basically successfully doing a sexual fast. Like I had like stopped masturbating and stopped watching porn or anything. So I was keeping this area like normal, like clean, more or less. I was kind of like, oh, I should say also that for me this was like quite a big thing. Like I was not able to do it before working with you. I was totally like stuck, and after some events, like I found some clarity to like.
So just like to be clear, you were telling me like many years in your life, whenever it was like some difficulties, some mental like problems, like I don't know, like sorrow, pain or whatever, you were all the time referring to porn. Like you were trying to solve this thing with watching porn, and that kind of made quite big like obstacle, or quite big like solution, wrong solution.
Yeah, I remember when I quit porn and when I was in America, I was like, when I couldn't watch it, I would start like, I don't even know how to, I would start like crying, I would start like my emotions would start to swing back and forth, because I was basically using porn to regulate everything, like all my like energy, emotion, and like kind of like stress management was just about this like porn, like using it like a drug. So and it was like from young age, like maybe like 12 or something, like until I was maybe 20 something years old. So it's like 10 years basically, 10 years of like every day, like
being married to porn.
Being married to porn basically. So when I was in America, I quit it, and I was like not watching some porn. There was some times where I made some relapse, like I would masturbate, but that was not like I was not watching porn anymore, and it was like I was feeling quite sober from this. I remember like even the colors got more bright for me. Like when I was watching porn, everything was like a gray, like sludge. Like the life was like a gray sludge. And when I stopped watching porn, it was like, I remember the colors got more bright and everything got more vivid, and I felt like kind of like normal person. And when I was in America, I was also kind of, I was more like in a kind of incubation chamber, kind of like I could say, because I was not in a big city. I was like living with my parents, and there was no there wasn't like a lot of distractions. It was like I was close to my parents all the time. I had like a kind of greenhouse.
Yeah, like protected area.
Yeah, protected area. So I was kind of like in a kindergarten still kind of way. I hadn't like faced some hard spiritual like.
So you came to Armenia, just for the watchers to be clear, like you came to Armenia to volunteer, and you spent almost a year. Yeah, year.
A full year.
Full year, yeah. You spent.
Yeah.
Okay. So being like in Armenia and because still when you're in Armenia and you're volunteering, you're still in some kind of like greenhouse thing because you're not fighting for your survival, like you're not working like real way, like you're volunteering and like there are some saved money and so on, like so you're not really tasting the Armenian reality, but still it was like way more real than the things you had before.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, when I came here it was like it was, I don't know how to explain. It was like I got when I was in America, all the variables were like I was used to them first of all, and they were like very few variables. It was like everyday kind of same stuff. And when I came to Armenia, I was like all of a sudden, it's like I got thrown into some kind of chaotic, more chaotic
flow.
Environment. Yeah. And it was like not easy to manage for me. I was not like.
Okay, so going back to the porn, like this porn topic is quite big and basically it's can be dedicated like many different videos to this, but so what you were trying to say, like you were like back then, like 1 year ago you were.
Yeah, I had stopped.
Yeah, so
for several months.
Go ahead from there.
So when I came to Armenia, I was I don't know, I came here, it was like really not, it was way harder to keep my like discipline in this area. I couldn't, it was not like in America at all. It was like some forces were trying to really
provoke you.
Yeah, and they knew exactly how. It wasn't like in America I had gotten used to it, I had gotten things under control, but I was not used to some like real challenge. But when I came to Armenia, it was like this all new kind of forces. And I remember within like the first month, I don't remember exactly when, but I started watching it again because I remember I think it was in my aunt's house. Yeah, it was in my aunt's house. I had gone to her house like to visit like for the first time in some year or something, and there was like this very strong like urge to go watch the porn. And I went with it. I like relapsed. And then after this, like it was I couldn't like get enough sobriety or like power to like cut it again. So after this, like pretty much the whole year, there was some times where I stopped for some month or so, but pretty much the whole year.
Like Queen was singing, "Don't Stop Me Now."
I'm having such a good time.
Yes. So basically my question was not about the porn, but you started from there, like because what's the reason you started from there? Like because like my question was, how was your understanding about your spiritual condition and your success, and where are you, and what's the understanding of like how you look now, like with nowadays perspective, like so that's my question. So I want to understand like
why
where you put the porn and the vision, and like just if you make it all
Yeah,
together.
because basically the reason I started from the porn is because it's like it was one of my biggest like struggles that I overcame. It was like for me a good success to start
Yeah.
with, and it kind of when I started doing it again, it really poisoned me all over again, and it messed up my perception of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like my biggest regret that I did really wrong here was to watch that again. So that's why I started to talk about that. But apart from that, I basically like my kind of vision back then was, because I guess part of again that it was like in a protected kind of zone. I was having like really, I didn't know it, but I was having poor understanding of my own, like, first of all, like capabilities, like my weaknesses, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And also about like just life, the life in general.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I like now, I have like graduated and now
Mhm.
I understand everything, but just in general, when I was in kind of this protected environment, I was really when I think about how I thought the year would go,
Mhm.
my year in army, I was literally thinking like, I'm gonna come, like I'm gonna help everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to maybe like find like a good like girlfriend or maybe even wife or something like this. I'm going to like dedicate all myself to the spiritual practice. I had these like basically like delusions, because if I really was gonna see what my condition was like, I would see like I'm not ready. I had to like to really like actually do these things every day. I would have to have gone through some trials and like kind of challenges, to have graduated from some challenges. So yeah, it's not like, so basically now what I can see is that like my those things that I wanted to do, like all those like perfect like movie kind of movie things, it's not like the life is not working like that. Like, first of all, like we talked about this like yesterday. I asked you like what can you see like that changed in me after this whole year? You said like now you're more disgusted with yourself, like you can see yourself more clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, being disgusted with myself is a healthy thing, like very healthy. Like I need it really bad. Basically because like I hit so many walls and made like a lot of mistakes here. With your help, like you helped me realize like what really I was doing wrong, and a lot of things I was doing like not just wrong, but like totally not, like even like totally backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was gonna know that I had this in me already, like these like potential to do these like really wrong things 1 year ago, I would never think like I'm gonna come to Armenia and then my life will be like a movie where everything goes like well.
So like tell about these feelings when you say like with my help you start to see more your actions and like the values, like what you do, what kind of things. What is your feelings like about this process? Because as I can feel from outside, like it's not the easiest thing to see your own like shitty things, bad things, because as more I work with people, like most of the people, they are like in a quite deep illusion about themselves, like who they are. So most of the people, they are in Armenia we say like this kind of expression, like they are the person of their dreams.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for many of them, it's like very hard to say goodbye to this person, because the reality is not like that. But some people so much attached to this person of their dreams, they don't want to accept anything like else but this illusion. So I want you to share like your feelings, like what do you feel each time when there is some piece of that illusionary person is like breaking and some reality is revealing. Because like for many people, this could be like some good example, because some of them, like, they don't have enough braveness to face, and then they can say like, it's not about us, like, just leave me alone, like it's not me.
Yeah.
So what do you feel about this process?
Yeah, it's like, it's really, even sometimes it even can be like physically painful. It's like it's not easy. When I was like
physically painful, but I'm not like beating you.
No.
It's like,
no, just realizing what kind of shit
your body starts
your body
to
will
feel
even start
pain.
to feel pain. Yeah, and like every, of course, like you want to hang on to your stupid like delusions, because it's easy. It's like a nice way to go about the day, thinking about yourself, to not have like some drama and like
it's putting you in a comfortable situation.
Yeah, but when you started breaking this like dream, and you didn't, it was just you did it with my own actions. Like when I would do something, you would just point what I did and explain. So there was no like, I don't know. It was like there was even like no denying, like even like, I don't know. It would be really hard to make up something after this. Like after I just did some sort of like bad action, and you just point like the facts. So when there's like no denying, and you have to realize like this,
you can't run away.
You can't run away. Yeah. It can be really bad, like really painful. I remember there was like some. I'm usually not like that much emotionally turbulent person. In general, I'm like kind of like, usually I'm kind of like a numb. Sometimes I can have the tendency to be like numb, but there was times when you were like pointing out some, like really what my condition is, and I was like realizing what you're saying is true, and I really started to, I don't even know how to describe the condition I was in, but it was painful. I was like crying. I was like realizing I was like stuck like in a hole. I'm like a cheap person. I'm like a cheater, like a liar, like all these things. When I started to like realize it was really painful thing.
Even like I remember like these some situations, like we don't need to go to details, but like in general, like the situation when like I was pointing some facts that we were already talking about this and like having some specific conclusion, and then when it was like repeating, you were first, the illusion was so big, so you were not believing about our previous talk. You were thinking totally different way, and then after some time when the emotions were like becoming settled down, calm, you were like analyzing that we talked about this, and it is what it is, like so like how is these feelings like to fight those like inner, like to be basically your own judge, because it's one thing when I'm telling you something and the other thing is that already also your own judge is passing through those things, like because if your own judge will not gonna accept the outside thing from my side, my point of view, you can still remain like the same way, like my words will not gonna touch you.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, the difference is like I started to reevaluate my way I feel about myself, like because when you make up some lies about what kind of person you are, it's easy to think you're a nice guy, like you're normal, nice guy.
Yeah.
But when your own, like you yourself can now see that you're like even like changing the history, like to kind of like erase like that you did something wrong, or like maybe you're not like you're like a dirty person, you start to see like really what kind of person you are, and you start to judge yourself like this type of person, not like what you thought you were. You like reevaluate yourself, and it's not reevaluate yourself is kind of like a nice way of putting it, but you start to become like kind of
more sober, more understanding the real, at least some part of the real issues you're having.
Yeah.
Because the most important thing is like the right diagnosis, like for yourself. If you really accept the right diagnosis, you start to work, on what you're working. But if you're not accepting those diagnoses, you're not putting the right effort, the right place, because you think that everything is fine. Like,
yeah.
I don't need those things. Like, yeah, because like when I work with many people, like I see that it's very easy to, like, even though like I can point some issues, it's very easy to falsificate them, like to say like somebody else was also involved and it's their fault, or like I'm like pushing too much. Maybe it's like basically because like how I can point on your issues from my experience, like as much as I reached some point where like of my clarity of my point of view, I'm limited with this much of like showing something. I can't show something which is like I'm not reached there, like that clarity. So but because like I put some effort for many years to reach some clarity, this is, for average person, this is enough to come to some nice results. Like I'm not saying like I'm like super clear, but as much as I can, this is already like, so far as I can see, for many people, it's reaching that point is very nice result. Like some average point. Because when people are in illusion, they are like basically totally in illusion, like they're like all the time lying to themselves about everything.
Yeah.
And to come to minimum of soberness, it's already a big achievement.
Yeah.
Like to see in which places you're lying to yourself and like you don't want to accept.
Yeah.
To see that you don't want to accept, it's already like a big achievement. Like this, the next step is like to accept and go farther, but at least to see, it's like a big goal, like reached.
Extraordinary, like thing. Yeah.
So what else you want to say? Like,
I guess like my identity changed as a result. And then of course when your identity changes and you become, when I say like disgusted with yourself, I don't mean that in like a bad way, like you're disgusted with your body or something. It's not like this weird It's not like that. It's like you'll see like really what kind of
It's like if you stole money from somebody and you were like justifying yourself, and then
Yeah.
one day you understand that there is no justification for this,
Yeah.
and you're becoming disgusted with your
Yeah.
like healthy disgusted.
Yeah. And I guess also the reason it's like a disgust is because, correct me if I'm wrong, because you know how the mechanics are working more than me, obviously, but because like it was illusion for many, many years. So when you break some part of the illusion, it's like not just disgust, but it's like shocking. I guess that's why maybe the body can hurt sometimes or something. It's like a quite big shock. Like, and then when you, of course, after this, you realize that what work you need to do, it makes you want to work. So it's like healthy
Yeah.
result in the end.
So now compared to 1 year ago, like you have less illusions and you have more understanding on what you really need to work.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like making long things short, like.
Yeah.
Because like it's the same when, for example, I was a kid. I was thinking to build my own like electric car or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking it's very easy.
Mm.
And I was already like almost in my dreams. I was already like driving this car.
Yeah.
And when you realize like what kind of skills you need to have to build this kind of car, you understand that yeah, it's still can be achieved, but it's not what you were thinking before.
Yeah.
And about the illusions, I want to like touch this topic a little bit, like about like Armenia as a nation, because people in United States, like it's more wide understanding of their nation, like their ethnicity, like they're like different people, like Native Americans,
Right. Yeah.
black people, like Indians, like
Mm-hmm.
different, and each of them they're feeling different about their nation or their like group.
Mm-hmm.
But Armenia is more focused on one
Mm-hmm.
ethnicity, one understanding, like
Mhm.
it's very mono.
Mm-hmm.
And this understanding of the genocide happened, and why it's happened, and this also like this false understanding that we're always the victim,
Yeah.
and we're just the nice guys, but we're like weak, and that's why we're the victim. One day we'll become strong and we will kick everybody's asses, and
Yeah.
we will show like the nice person how we should act. This is kind of like illusionary understanding, and it's the same as like the person could have the illusion about himself or herself.
Yeah. Yeah. So the group is working the same as a person, just on a much larger scale.
Yeah, and again, like it's nothing can justify a genocide, but or some other like bad actions from the neighbor country.
Yeah.
But to really see the issues, like why it happened,
Yes.
that for the nation it's a big challenge to see the reality.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you're behaving not the right way, always there will be another bad person who will come to punish you.
Mm.
And it's not justifying none of the sides, but it's not making one side like a saint,
Mm-hmm.
and another side like the bad guy.
Yeah, of course.
And what I can see from people, like usually like they put themselves in a saint position, and the other circumstances or like people they put as a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they live like a very warm-hearted like way.
Uh-huh.
But it's not helping them to see, and because if you can't see, you will repeat the same mistakes again and again, and you say like, you see, I was right, they're all the time beating us, like
Yeah, exactly.
and it's hard to not believe in your illusion, because you can see the reality is that, yeah, like somebody is beating you or like killing you, and that's the big proof of that you're right. But it takes quite big challenge to dig deeper and understand like why it's happening.
Yeah.
And with all the conflicts is like this, like there is all the time like some triggers inside us which are making the other person to react on that triggers and do the bad job. And like the most important thing which is written in Bible, it says like you should love your enemy. And like I almost can't see like anybody understanding what does it mean like to love your enemy. People maybe usually think like just be nice, like for like your enemy is an asshole, but you should love the asshole, like you should forgive. But that's not the right understanding of a loving enemy, because the reality is like the person is asshole towards you because like you have the specific triggers to make him act towards you like an asshole.
Right.
And loving him is basically changing your inside triggers and the real love.
Yeah.
So if it's changing that, there is no more like this model of victim and the enemy.
Yeah.
Like you're changing the situation.
Yeah.
But usually people think like, no, I am the victim, that's the enemy, that's the bad guy, but I like recalling from this point, like pushing from this point, I should love my enemy. They don't understand that there is no enemy.
Yeah.
If you will do the right actions, like understanding what was the inside triggers,
Yeah.
this person will not gonna be an enemy for you. And also the other thing is like when you, what does it mean like to love your enemy? To really from the bottom of your heart to wish the best for the person, yeah, or the ethnicity. So that means that by your wish, it's one drop towards like niceness of this ethnicity or person.
Yeah.
So if the person is becoming nicer, how he can harm you? It's no more possible.
Right.
But with your hate, when you say like that's the bad guy and he will be even more bad, he will do even more bad things to you.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Because your triggers are even worse now, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You
So it's kind of like endless circle, like closed circle.
Yeah.
And if you keep on playing this bad game, the circle is becoming like more like close and more like narrow.
Yeah.
And more hard conditions.
Yeah.
And you say like, see, I was right.
They're the worst.
Yes. And they do even now like more worse things.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm right. Yes. But things could be in a different way if you follow the Bible the right way.
The right way. The real way.
Okay, Alexjan, so I feel that this is enough information for one video.
Okay.
Thank you for being honest and like because like sharing some intimate things about like watching porn and stuff is like, I'm sure like many like the internet like observations are showing like the porn is one of the most like number one searched thing.
Yeah.
But when you look, people will not gonna say like I am watching. Like the statistics shows that everybody almost watch, but the reality shows that nobody watches. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can say like my own experience that till 2020, like basically the corona started, like I was also like a big fan of porn, because I was like also from spiritual side, I was thinking like I'm observing some processes and so on. So it's like there is like many ways to lie to yourself,
Right. Yeah.
to get what you want.
Right.
And then after I met Nune, and we became like a couple, I understood that watching porn is even like cheating with like a normal cheating, like real life cheating. What's the difference? Like you getting involved in some sexual energies of other people, like virtually, or like real time.
Right. Yeah. It's the same.
Yeah, you get the same pleasure or the same things.
Yeah.
So that was my last drop of that kind of activity, because before, like for 2 or 3 years almost, like I was having this kind of like sexual fast, like nothing, like no kind of like sexual activity, which I felt was good for me, like to grow and like to get rid of some wrong things that I collected so far.
Right.
So after I finished these 3 years like fast, then like the old habits and the porn came again, like but then like eventually it went away because of the right mindset. Because if there is no right mindset, maybe there is nothing which can stop you to go and take it. Like, why not?
Right. Yeah. I'm in that position right now.
Yeah.
I need to change, like radically change my inner world, so I understand. Like, yeah, it's like really. I was using drugs before too, and these things I gave up. Like once you explained to me what was wrong with these, I just stopped. Like, but porn was the most like addictive and most like poisoning thing that I've had basically in my life, and really it changes my entire perspective of like the other people around me, like the world. Everything gets more gray. It feels like also inside my own body I feel like sometimes even like pain in my legs.
Yeah, because like one important thing I want to say in this video in the end, that basically being sexually engaged with anybody, doesn't matter if it's virtual or it's real, you're basically having some sexual like energy exchange.
Yeah.
And you never know what kind of life the characters in porn are living, and what they do.
Right. Yeah.
In which kind of like dirtiness they roll. And
right.
When you exchange with them with your sexual energy, you're getting something from them. And it's like a quite big topic, like to go to more details, like to explain to people like more side effects and what's going on, like backstage. It will not gonna be in this video, but at least like there is some like basic specifics that I want to tell. Okay, Alexjan.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. What do you think?
Nice video.